What's up, guys? Welcome back to Game Sandwich. I'm John Hansen. That's Kalo, and we're here for another episode of Community Kitchen where we are discussing all the biggest things in gaming. This time around, I thought I would bring up a little conversation for me and Kevin to get through the impact and need for immersion in video games. Because more and more these days, you see people throwing out, hey, that's very immersion breaking. That ruins the game for me. Hey, I want this to be as lifelike as possible. Kevin, I am here to tell you I don't give a fuck about immersion.
Hey.
I want less immersion in my games.
Yes.
Where do you stand on immersion in video games?
For the biggest time, I was in that where it's like, I don't care. I just want to play good games, enjoy them, move on with my life. As I've become a pundit in video games and like kind of I look at them more critically, I feel as if this is a subjective thing where it's like in certain games I want the full deal. Give me the full immersion, give me whatever. In other games I'm like I don't need that. Like it's fine. Just give me the vanilla experience and we can move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this really comes down to my state of mind when I'm playing video games. There are people I totally understand and I totally get what you're going for when you're like, hey, I want to escape reality. I want to get lost into this game. And that's a very great mindset to have with video games. If you're a fan, like, yeah, you want to dive into this as much as possible. But man, there aren't very many games that I can think of that I'm like, yeah, I have to really just be lost in the sauce here. Like, I'm playing my video games for fun. I'm not, I don't want to become the person inside. I think one of the very few examples is, and it's actually a game that released very recently, would be the Doom games. Doom: The Dark Ages does the same exact thing the previous two games do for me, where it's like, yeah, walking around and blowing away demons, I feel very immersed. I feel like I am the Doomslayer. I feel like I am an unstoppable badass. I actually wrote an article about this recently where I was like, yeah, I'm your basic 33-year-old white guy. I'm single. I've got a daughter. Like, I am as boring as they come in real life. But when I play the Doom games, I feel awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like nothing can stop me. And on that aspect, I really love it. But when I think about all these other games, don't need to be immersed into Mario Kart world. Like,
Exactly.
I don't need to feel like I'm Mario going around a track. Grand Theft Auto, I don't want to feel like a total scum
No.
killing people out in the open like that. Like, I don't need that kind of stuff. I feel very weird when people say things like that. Like in Call of Duty, oh, I have to be immersed. I have to feel like I'm this military guy shooting up all these people.
No.
I don't know. I don't need that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
So there are a few games whenever you pitch this idea, I immediately shot up to the top of my list. The one game I've played recently that has given me the full immersion, I'm in it, and I highly recommend you play as they recommended, is Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga. Whenever you throw on a pair of headphones and you're playing that game and you hear the whispers from like in front of you but on the left, behind you but on the right, those are the experiences that really drew me in. And it's like, that's a game where I started around, let's say like 2 o'clock I started playing. It was like 7, 8 o'clock whenever I was like, oh snap, I'm not in this world. Like I gotta realize I got things to do today. So it's stuff like that that really stands out as far as immersion. I am completely with you on this idea that like I don't need to be feeling like Mario in Mario Kart World. I don't need to be the soldier in Call of Duty. I want quick, snappy gameplay and stuff like that. And then I look at where I said varying degrees. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I brought up a point, we were talking about it in a video where I was like, I was walking around this field and it started to rain. I heard the wind rustling all the bushes and stuff. It was moments like that where I was like, damn, this game is so much fun. I love it. I just like the relaxing tone it gives me. I look back to Skyrim whenever I'm walking through winter-filled lands and like the creeks and all that stuff. I like that stuff, but again, a time and a place for games. Like, I don't think the next Mario Party needs to go full immersion mode. Like, I don't. I think there's a focus
Mhm.
on gameplay there that is totally different from what like Hellblade is doing.
Yeah, I love that you brought up Hellblade because you're absolutely right. The noises in the headphones when you're playing either of the Hellblade games, perfect. That is actually the best part of those games. And in that respect, that's a bad thing
Yeah,
because we're talking about like, yeah, why are you playing Hellblade? Oh, to hear voices in my head.
hmm.
Like at the end of the day, video games are supposed to be fun. And Hellblade, I'm not trying to take anything away from Hellblade because I like both of those games. I like the first one better than the second one, but when I play those games, the gameplay itself, I don't feel like I'm Senua. I
No.
like it's a very basic. I'm walking along very slowly. Okay, here's a combat section. I'm gonna just swing my sword at these guys and then move on with the story.
Hmm.
Like gameplay wise, the immersion just isn't there. It's all in the sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's the best part of the game by
Yeah.
far. Well, okay, the animations and stuff also are in
It
there
looks
as
great.
well,
Yeah.
but yeah, the audio stuff is the best selling point of those games, and that's not the best thing to talk about when we're talking about a video game. Those adventures, if you took away the sound, if you take away the many voices talking the cinema, is that game as enjoyable as let's say I don't know, just pick any adventure game you can
Yeah.
think of.
No,
Like,
not at all.
yeah, so that's not a great thing. Like they really strive for immersion in those video games, and while I enjoy them for what they are, that doesn't really make me ever want to go back to those games. I played them once, and I'm like, okay, that was an awesome experience. Like, yeah, that's really cool. I don't think I ever want to play Hellblade 1 or 2 again because I've already gotten my fill of that.
So this is where I got to ask you the question of we talk about like RPGs where it's like Starfield, Elder Scrolls, Clockwork Revolution's going to have some of that RPG elements mixed in. Then we have a title like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle where like your goal is to play and essentially become Indiana Jones. Does the aspect of you crafting your story help you there, or would you like to have that guided experience like I'm just Indiana Jones, I have the perspective, I hear him talking, I do this, do that. Does that help with immersion more?
I don't know because I don't ever really feel that stuff. The thing I think about is the reason people always say, "Oh, Link from The Legend of Zelda can't have a voice because Nintendo wants you to be that character. They want the avatar to be you." I never feel like I'm Link.
No,
Like
never.
that's never something that I've felt along the way. A first-person shooter, I mentioned Doom. That makes me feel like a badass. But outside of that, I can't really think of any first-person shooter or first-person game that like made me really think I was that character. Like
No.
Indiana Jones, I played through that and I was like, "Yep, this is an Indiana Jones game and it's good." But I never felt like I was actually him. I
Yeah.
didn't feel that immersion. I don't know. Did you?
No, it was much like what you're saying. It's like we're a vessel. Like that is the vessel we're riding on. As far as like,
Mhm.
I'm piggybacking off of Indiana Jones. Like it felt like the
Yeah.
movie. It felt like, hey, like this is the classic experience, and it what it is to be like Indiana Jones, not to be
Mhm.
him. And
Yeah.
then
Sorry, just saying. Like instead of being him, I'm the camera strapped to his face.
yeah, it's like that first person perspective. And there's always this conversation of like, oh, I craft my own story and then I create my own lore in a thing like Starfield. There's those RPG elements that I do enjoy. And I'm not like, whenever I played Starfield, I crafted a little story in my head. Am I fully saying I'm that character? No, like, I didn't feel something. If anything, it's more of, for me, being immersed in games, it's all about the atmosphere. It's not about just becoming the character. If you can give me a world that has all the little sounds and whatever, I'm in. And like, I'm looking at Red Dead Redemption 2 as one of those games where like you feel like a cowboy. Like you're going through the wilderness, you're hunting animals, you're fishing, you're in shootouts, but you're not fully in it. Like you're living through that, like Arthur Morgan or John Marston, one of the two.
Yeah, I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, so I can't speak to that game. I only played like an hour Red Dead 1, so I really need to get around to playing those at some point.
Definitely.
Um, yeah, I've seen plenty of videos on them, and like I think of Red Dead Redemption 2 in particular, where Rockstar really overdid it in their goal for like realism and that immersion aspect. Like you can't have all your guns on you. You have to hold it in on your horse. Like they're gonna carry that over the Grand Theft Auto 6, according to various leaks now, where all your guns are in the trunk of your car, which I just don't want that.
No.
I don't need to feel I don't need these games to feel modern or not modern, but realistic and like yeah, I'm in this world and I couldn't carry an RPG and three different assault rifles and a pistol on me at one time. Yeah, of course he would have to go to his car and grab that. I don't want that. Just Grand Theft Auto is like just being the worst person around and having all the tools to do that at your disposal. Having to run to my trunk to grab a gun, I don't know. That just doesn't sound fun to me. Like some people would be like, "Oh yeah, now I feel like I'm in this world. I can believe this world that I'm in." And I'm like, "Who cares? I don't need that."
That was the same thing, comparatively speaking, to the Mafia games, where it's like, oh, like I can run out of gas or something. I have to refill the tank, or you have to get out and fix your engine if you break your car enough. It's like those things that snag the experience. And then Mafia the Old Country, we were at PAX looking at talking to developers, and they did this thing where they went to this car garage and they recorded individual sounds for each of the cars. That goes back to the thing I mentioned earlier at the start of the video. It's the finer details that make the overall greater experience, and that's something I can commend them for, because it's easy as like, hey, let's go into this file and grab this generic sound for a car door open close. Like, they could easily do that. But taking that extra step, it might go a long way for some people.
Yeah, like I absolutely commend the developers for putting in the work to get stuff like that, all those different car sounds and everything. But if they had never told you that that was in the game, would you have even realized? Like,
Not a
does it
no.
matter
For
that
me,
much?
no.
If it was those realistic sounds, and let's say a month after release, they put out a random patch. They don't say what's in it, but in that patch, they swap out the normal car sounds they have for like the stock generic stuff. Would anyone really care or notice?
No, that's
Like,
the thing. These are the things, if you're like
at,
getting into the weeds of like gaming, where it's like,
yeah,
oh, like casual, like Tim in high school buying Mafia the Old Country is not gonna care. But like,
no,
insert game critic here, they'll notice. But like, well, you know, what is that at the end
yeah.
of the day?
It's it at that point, it really makes me wonder, would the resources and the time and everything that the developers are putting into those kind of features, they be better spent somewhere else? Is there another area? Obviously, we don't know about Mafia: The Old Country yet because it's not out yet. But if that game comes out and there's like a very easy part of the game where you're like, this could have used more work, would the work that the people put on those cars, if that had been translated over to that area, that problem area, could it have been better?
Oh yeah.
Like the focus on immersion sometimes takes away from the experience from games. Already mentioned Hellblade, which is, I think Hellblade is the biggest instance of this, where it's like, man, for Hellblade 2, I was hoping for so long that they were going to improve the gameplay of that game, the combat, the exploration, or something. But at the end of the day, it was just more of Hellblade 1, which was cool, but not something that I particularly loved.
Yeah. It's just those things where I can tell you all about the various sounds and whispers and everything, but you tell me about how the game handled, like you just said. Yeah, it's another Hellblade 1 style of game. And this is where developers, I feel, especially nowadays, gotta walk that fine line as far as how far do we take this thing versus allocating resources, like you said. It's very difficult in 2025, heading into 2026. And it only makes me wonder, like, heading into the next Xbox, the PS6, whatever, Nintendo, blah, blah, blah. What are games gonna look like then? Like, we're talking about right now, but is that immersion level going to go up? Like, how does it go up? I've seen the thing about the suit you put on and you feel the little taps or whatever. Once we cross that point, count me out. I don't need that. I don't need.
There's hold on. There was like the blood drive thing where when you got shot in the game, it would pull blood.
Oh no.
Donate.
Oh no.
There's a chest that like would like stab you or something when you got shot, so it would like simulate how it feels to be shot.
Who
Like,
wants
why
that?
do we need that? Who
Yeah.
wants that? I don't
The
get it.
smell-o-vision? The smell? Did you see that thing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I've
who?
heard about that
You're
too.
gonna tell me you're gonna pop in Plague Tale Requiem and then you're gonna want to smell that? No, thank you. No,
No,
not at all.
absolutely. I just thought of I just went back to that game and
Exactly.
I was grabbing collectibles and stuff, and I just thought about a portion where you go under a dock to clear a chain that's being held in place by a corpse, and
Yeah.
there's just a whole bunch of dead bodies in the water there. Oh,
You don't.
made me
You
want to
don't
gag.
want. There's a line we can't
No,
cross. We can't do it.
no. Okay, so the next place I want to take this conversation is haptic feedbacks, adaptive triggers, all this stuff, everything around the dual sense, essentially, because we're hearing reports and rumors that Xbox is working on this kind of stuff. When you look at the dual sense, do you care about the haptic feedback stuff, all of that?
I've used it and it was a quick thing where it's like, all right, the first 2 days I thought it was cool. Following that, I don't care. Like I just want to play good games. Like I
Yeah.
appreciate the idea and like what they're doing, and it's like, oh, give me another reason why I should buy this box with this controller. You can technically chalk that up as a reason. But for me, I'm like great. Like I can feel a bow like being pulled back and releasing. But do I need to feel it in every game? No, not at all.
I'm with you. When the PlayStation 5 released, we're talking 5 years later, I thought the DualSense was one of the best controllers ever. I thought this was an amazing piece of tech. And that lasted for about a week until I finished Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
like like that was such a good experience that I was like, "Oh, I was so bought in on the controller." And then every other game since then, I'm just like, "Okay, it's there. Like I
Yeah.
don't need this." I don't, maybe the Spider-Man games with the web slinging is pretty cool. Swinging around New York and you can kind of feel the tension and the triggers. Outside of that, I can't think of a single game where I was like, yeah, I love this. It's just there, and it's just like when you think of how that impacts the controller itself, it's probably wearing down on the battery and all that stuff. It's like, I don't need this.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a flex. It's like a thing where I've played Xbox games with the Xbox controller. It's fine. I have HD Rumble on the Switch 2 and on the Switch 1. That was a thing. It was great for all of 5 days, and now
Hmm.
it's like, hey, it's there. Great. Like, and that's not to sound spoiled or like ungrateful. Like, I'm glad we're innovating in gaming and all that. We could easily just remain stagnant, but at the same time, it's like, what else do we need? Like, there's nothing else that we
Yeah.
really need. We just need games to come out in complete states, working fine, and like get them out on time, like, or a reasonable time frame.
I think my main argument here is that immersion doesn't really add to a video game and make it like more complete.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of a side thing where it's like, yeah, that's really cool to have, and I enjoy that. But it's not something that it wouldn't take a game that's like a 9 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. It
No.
doesn't really boost it at all. Someone can come along and say, hey, you know what? That was really cool what they did there. But it's not something that like markedly makes a video game better. VR, I mean, I can't really speak much on VR because I get sick after like 10 minutes with a
Mm-hmm.
VR headset on. I can't handle it. I've never looked at a VR game through a video and been like, yeah, that looks like something that makes me feel like I'm that person. It just feels like I'm in a simulator or something.
Yeah, like unless I'm plopped into the Matrix like Ready Player One. Immersion is just like that added bell and whistle, like the textbook
Hmm.
definition of, hey, this is here too if you want. Like, have fun with it. It does, it makes games enjoyable, but like you said, not going to take it from a 9 to a 10 and like, oh, they changed gaming forever.
Absolutely. Well, I think that is a good spot to end cap our discussion on does immersion matter in video games? At the end of the day, I still say no. Kevin, what do you say?
I say no, but I also feel like this is something that's very subjective. There's going to be people out
Mhm.
there that are going to say, like, hey, I need that. And then there's people that be like, I could care less.
You're right. I definitely need to hear the specific sound on this gun compared to this other one. Like, oh man, if they sound the same, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
just can't handle it. Okay, well, Kev, thanks for having this discussion with me. Viewer, thank you for listening to our discussion. Let us know in the comments if you agree with us that immersion, it's a fun little thing, but not necessarily something I need in a video game. If you like this discussion, please leave a like, subscribe to Game Sandwich. You can check out all of our other discussion videos that we already have on there. Go down into the description below and find that link to our community Discord where you can come on in and tell us, hey, you idiots, I need immersion in video games. I need to know that I am this bad person just ruining countless lives.
Hey,
Feel good about yourself?
whatever floats their
Thanks so
boat.
much. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.